Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise on this marvelous Monday. I'm Anastasia Palacios.
Good morning. Happy Monday to you. I am Philip Simon.
So happy to have you back, Phil.
Man, listen, I watched a little bit of the show on Friday, and I'm hearing you. I'm holding you back, man.
No, Phil. Phil, don't let them believe it, Phil. See, our cameraman get jealous when you were here because they don't want me off themselves, right? Don't let them tell you any lies, Phil. I am just so happy to have you back. I am not piloting this flight alone. We are back together again, so it's going to be a great show.
It's going to be a great show. Happy to be back. It's been the year of the stitches for me.
Yeah, man. I need you to take better care of yourself.
Well, I've been trying, but these 40s ain't playing at all. They ain't playing at all. But hey, I'm here. Not 100, but I'm happy to be here on the show this morning with you guys.
Yeah.
I want to say before we get started, just a couple of things. One, I want to wish my little brother happy 30th birthday on the 12th of October, Keyshawn. Boy, you're getting a little old, huh? Or maybe I'm getting a little old. I don't know.
That's how I feel, but yeah.
And I want to say also to the Roll family, Kalis and his children and his family and those of Nadia, condolences. Just very sad occasion, and we certainly want to wish them Godspeed as they go through this.
This process.
Yeah, this process.
Yeah, this grieving process. And when you and I spoke about Nadia's passing, I told you that this was the second death for me last week with knowing someone that had passed from cancer. And so this morning I extend condolences to Wayne Smith and Wayne Smith Jr. and the entire family and everyone missing Wanda Smith this morning. She would have passed last week Wednesday, and so certainly lost two people we know to cancer in this month when we talk so much about cancer.
That's right.
And it has to be where we're focusing on a cure. I mean, and I don't know which more we can do but then we're just losing too many people to cancer, and it impacts so many lives once those lives are gone. And so
it's been a rough year. It's been an interesting year thus far, but in all things we still have to give thanks to God. For those of us that remain,
right?
And we must continue to work. On Saturday I did a follow-up to the procedure, and I was waiting in the hospital to see. Actually, Dr. Pinto is on the show today, and sitting next to this lady, and she's like, "You the guy from Bahamas at Sunrise?" I'm like, yeah. She's like, "You look a little different." I said, "Different?" She says, "Yeah." So, on the show you look younger. So this morning I want to give a shout out to Brenda, the makeup artist, and Renee.
For making you look
Obviously,
younger.
you guys do wonders.
What a time, what a time.
She was a little confused, but yes, it was me if you're
This is
watching.
him. He's back again in the flesh. This is the real deal. Listen, so happy to have Phil back with us. We're looking forward to a really good show. We've got a packed one for you. Talking about some really interesting topics, right, Phil?
We've got the Bahamas Financial Services Board here. Ike Patania is in the house along with Jamaica. They're celebrating 20 years, believe it or not. 20 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
20th anniversary. Dr. Pinto is here. He's also going to be talking about, what's this word I was looking at?
Prostate hyperplasia.
Okay, yeah.
Hyperplasia.
Okay, in our urology care segment. And the Director of Youth, Deputy Permanent Secretary, as I like to call him now, is here to give us an update on Youth Month.
See, so all that is exciting, and we've still got more to go. Providence Law Chambers is in the house, and I'm happy they're back because we're talking to them about that controversial Disneyland deal that everybody's been kind of commenting on recently. So we're going to learn more about that. Cash and Go is also in the house.
Yeah.
They're going to be talking
the super duo.
I heard something about no VAT, so I'm excited to find out
Thursday.
what happened with Cash and Go and that. And in addition to that, we've got the Small Business Development Center. Now, they launched recently. They'd actually come on the show prior to their launch to talk about who they were and what they'd be doing. They're going to be presenting more about themselves and the various business outlooks that are hosted by the counselors. So Davinia Blair is going to be with us, giving us a little brief presentation prior to her presentation in Exuma. So looking forward to all of those segments and a very full show.
Very full show. I mean, I saw something floating around WhatsApp over the weekend. Where was it, Godfrey? New Guinea? New Guinea. I just couldn't believe that. I mean, it almost seemed like it was unreal, the amount of devastation, and the tagline was that creation is groaning.
Yeah.
Mother Nature is really, boy, she's throwing some blows.
Yeah, she's frustrated with us, and I don't blame her. But certainly we're going to look forward to seeing what the weather looks like this week. We had a pretty good weekend. It was kind of hot.
It was pretty good.
But it was the first time in a long time I don't remember it raining at the International Food Fest. So I think a lot of people were happy. Very briefly, I got to pass by on Saturday for my samosas.
Yeah.
I don't miss it. India, I love you. And I was happy. I got to try this really good beer from Poland. That was awesome.
Nice.
And so, I had a brief time at the International Food Festival, but overall a wonderful weekend weather-wise. Trying to find from Godfrey what the weather looks like this week. Here he is now with your first look at weather, Godfrey Burnside.
Weather at Sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First. First in insurance, today, tomorrow.
Thank you, Star, and good morning, Bahamas. Yes, a beautiful weekend, and do we expect a beautiful weekend still weather-wise? High pressure downweather feature across the islands, but to the south of us, we do have a trough that's moving towards the west that could impact the southeast Bahamas late tonight into tomorrow. In your weather today, we're looking at partly sunny and warm with a chance of a few showers, maybe likely thunderstorms. Your high temperature 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Tonight, partly cloudy skies with a chance of a few passing showers. Your low temperature going down to 76 degrees Fahrenheit. And some region highs and lows across the Caribbean. Barbados 83 and 78. In Jamaica 78 and 74. In Trinidad 87 and 76. And the Turks and Caicos Islands 88 and 76. Across North America, Atlanta 76 and 59. In Raleigh 73 and 54. In Miami 87 and 80. Dallas, Texas 57 and 50. And Toronto, Canada 53 and 43. Next 5 days, looking at partly sunny, on the warm side, a little breezy, with a shower or thunderstorm possible. Low temperature daytime will be around the 90-degree mark. At nighttime, in the mid to upper 70s. That puts you up in your first look at weather sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Phil.
Thank you very much, Godfrey. Listen, I'm very, very happy to be joined this morning by Miss Davinia Blair. Long-time friend. Every time you say old friend, they go like, no, but long-time friend. She's actually the executive director of the Access Accelerator, also known as the Small Business Development Center. It's been a couple of weeks since they've launched, and you have hit the ground running.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me here, Phil. We're happy to be able to show progress in a short period of time. It's exciting. I mean, to see the amount of Bahamians that are taking advantage of this opportunity is pretty encouraging.
Yeah. How do you summarize, just in a couple of paragraphs or words, exactly what the Access Accelerator is?
Okay, so the Access Accelerator is supposed to accelerate the way Bahamians take advantage of small business development opportunities. The access part of the name relates to the fact that a lot of people in times past have not really ventured out into having their own businesses because they felt as though the access wasn't there for them, either financially, the technical resources, just simply access to information in some instances. Persons felt that there was some impediment to their growth in that area. So the Access Accelerator changes that. We give you access to the tools that you need, as well as we accelerate your growth through a measure of mentoring and hand-holding throughout the first 3 years of your existence as a business.
Okay, and these tools are obviously, in addition to the mentorship, I would imagine funding.
So funding is a huge part. Access to capital. We're also talking about financial services. So in the first couple of weeks of helping small businesses, one thing we realized is that a lot of small businesses need assistance with contract negotiation. Not that we didn't envision it before we started. We thought it would be a small part of the operation, but we're realizing, and we're happy, we have some friends coming to the table very soon, and we'll announce that soon, in terms of legal advice to help with the negotiations of contracts. So we've seen some contracts that if they were with us when they had first negotiated that, we are certain we would have assisted or at least pushed for a much better position for our clients.
I wasn't at the actual launch for the Access Accelerator, but I attended an event just prior to that dealt with research.
Yes.
And you gave a presentation on the numbers, as I like to call it, in terms of data and research and the importance of the small business sector to our economy. You're going to be speaking this week at the Exuma Outlook, I would imagine, and you have some information to share. I mean, give us a little preview of what you're going to be talking about there.
So first of all, I would like to celebrate the partnership with the Department of Inland Revenue. The data that you mentioned came directly from them, and it's been an amazing part of the work with our clients to date. We've also gotten that data back. We presented 3 years worth of that data. We've gotten that back, I believe, to 1998 now. And so we have time series data to be able to share with our clients to show significant trends. So what we would like to do while in Exuma, a big part of the presentation would include the specific Exuma landscape. You know, what sort of industries have been growing in Exuma? What was the seasonal trends, and what sort of other policy decisions or other national or international events may have affected those things. I think it's going to help persons plan better on that island, and it may even help persons decide what industries to get out of and which ones to jump into.
Yeah, I was about to say, I mean, if you don't mind sharing just a little bit, because I would imagine, you know, the whole Exuma Keys and the southern Bahamas, I mean, you know, it's kind of similar in terms of, you know, what it is that they do as an economy. You want to share just a little bit about, you know, what may be some of the opportunities?
Well, I would love to, and then persons might not show up to the outlook, but I'll tell you that's going to be the main focus. One of the things that was pretty shocking with the data is that research throughout the islands, throughout the Bahamas, has significantly increased as an industry. And in particular, we're quite familiar with a lot of the research that's going on in Exuma. And so I'm excited about some of the marine biology, marine environmental conservation, that sort of thing that's happening there. There are other areas like that are Exuma is specifically primed for. You know, agriculture as well. We talk a lot about agriculture in Andros, but a lot of the Bahamian islands are producing, and they have vibrant markets. I know that the Exuma Chamber of Commerce has been an integral part of a market there in Exuma, and they provide produce for the local tourism industry there. So I think we're going to see some interesting numbers come out of the presentation.
And the Accelerator program obviously is in partnership not just with the, I would imagine, Department of Inland Revenue, like you said, but certainly also to organizations like Chambers of Commerce and statistics. You know, how does it work in terms of the relationship? You're based here in New Providence, out of the University of Bahamas, I believe.
Well, so we're in partnership with the University of the Bahamas and the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce. And I think through that network, not just of the Chamber, but also through the university, we're excited to be able to branch out into the island. So just to pull back a little bit, so we started our first cohorts in Grand Bahama. So I'm happy to say that we have 17 Grand Bahamians that are going through the program at the moment. Exuma, with this outlook, we're excited to be able to promote the services and to have a greater number of clients signing on to the process there. We will be starting training there and advisory services. So with the Chamber of Commerce network, the expectation is that as we train entrepreneurs and we give them the necessary advices that they need to move forward, they still need to be in a family. And the chambers provide that family, provide that ongoing support.
Which is critical.
Which is critical. And together they produce needed policy, local changes. We expect that a lot of our advocacy for our clients on those islands will come through the chambers, and we'll work together to make those things happen.
Is there a profile? I mean, is there a particular type of business or entrepreneur that you're looking for? Or, I mean, who is the program really catering to?
Well, let me say this. If we assume a limited amount of resources, given the types of business plans that we're seeing in the first 2-3 weeks, if your plan does not include innovation, you might want to revise it. Innovation, I think, is critical. It's the game changer for the Bahamas. We talk a lot about diversifying our economy. Well, this is the time to do it. And innovation is going to help you be at the forefront of that rather than on the back end.
But I tell you what, I think the program is very lucky to have you. I know it's only been a couple of weeks, but I mean, where do you see it going in terms of the impact that it could have upon our country? And you know, sometimes the message out there is so pessimistic at times. But from your vantage, I mean, what is it looking like in terms of the submissions and the entrepreneurs that you're working with?
I think it's forcing persons to think twice about their personal contribution. Oftentimes when someone's in a job, they can get into the turning of the wheel on a regular basis and forget that they have a duty to contribute to any society that they're a part of. So I think we're going to find very engaged citizens. And so I'm looking forward to that change, but I'm also looking forward to the change in the capital markets. My expectation is that 5-10 years out, we're going to have lots of opportunities to invest our dollars in, in a dynamic, vibrant way for any Bahamian that may not want to actually leave their job to start a business, but they have savings and they would like to invest it. And I think that's going to do wonders for our country.
All right. Better businesses, better companies, better Bahamas.
Absolutely.
Davinia.
Thank you.
Good seeing you.
All righty.
All right. We've been with the Executive Director of the Access Accelerator at the University of Bahamas. We'll be right back.
Good afternoon. First response. How can I help you?
I've been in an accident on West Bay Street. Can you send someone to help?
Yes, ma'am. A first response team will be there in 15 minutes. Are you hurt?
No, I'm fine, but a bit upset.
We're glad you're not hurt. Please, try to relax. Our team will take care of everything as soon as they arrive.
First Response provides immediate on-site service and support from the scene of an accident through the claims and repair process. And it's free to all Bahamas First insured drivers in New Providence, every day for any type of accident. If you drive and want first response on your side, call 32-FIRST or visit bahamasfirst.com for the name of an authorized Bahamas First agent. First response can't prevent an accident from happening,
But it can certainly ease your mind when it happens.
Bahamas at sunrise. Now, prostate cancer affects 1 in 6 men in their lifetime, but almost half of all men aged 50 years or older are afflicted with non-cancerous benign prostate hyperplasia, also known as BPH, and almost all men by the age of 70. That's almost all men by the age of 70 years old suffer from BPH. But here to tell us more about this condition and the treatment, we're very happy to welcome our resident urologist, Dr. Gregory Pinto. Good morning, Dr. Pinto, and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning. Thank you for having me again.
Always a pleasure to have you with us because we always learn so much from you. You and I were talking off air about this and the fact that it impacts so many people. And I said, Dr. Pinto, is there nothing that you can do that's going to prevent this from happening? And you said no.
It's just a part of getting older.
Okay.
So if we're blessed with advanced age, which thankfully many men are, it's just part of getting older. But the most important take-home message is it's not something you need to suffer with.
Okay.
So it's benign prostate hyperplasia. If you're, as you mentioned, if you reach the age of 50, as many as 50% of Bahamian men worldwide are going to be afflicted with it.
Okay.
And the symptoms are very common to men these ages. So you're going to all of a sudden be waking up 4 or 5 times in the night to urinate. You're going to have a weak stream. You're going to have a little bit of hesitancy. When you go to urinate, it's going to take a minute before you start.
Okay.
You can have a stop and start stream. You can have a severe urgency where if you gotta go, you gotta go, or you're not going to make it in time.
Okay.
And it's far too common.
Okay.
Men are peeing every 30 minutes, every hour. It disrupts their social life, their marital life. If you're waking up 5 or 6 times in the night, you're not just waking yourself up and giving yourself a poor night's sleep and making yourself miserable, but you're waking up your wife. And it can cause marital strife. It can make your wife wake up more tired than before she went to bed. And it can cause a lot of discord within a marriage itself.
Okay.
Professionally, it can affect you. If every hour, if you're in a boardroom, if you're in a classroom and as a teacher, you got to go and urinate, and when you got to go, you got to run, or you're going to have a little accident. It's going to affect your ability to perform professionally. Socially, even let's say going to church. If every church service you got to go and urinate with a great urgency 3 times in one service, you're going to stay away from church because it's embarrassing. Everyone's going to see you running. You're going to be afraid to have a glass of wine, which is a diuretic. It'll make you go to urinating more quickly, or a cup of coffee. So it can affect your quality of life considerably. More importantly, if you're not emptying your bladder, it's what's going on internally that's more harmful.
Let's talk about that, right? Because I see a lot of men get to a certain age, and it's around this 50, 60 range, where they start to experience challenges with their kidneys. And you're telling me that it may be connected to that, right?
Yes, so it's a national crisis in this country. We have 800 men and women on dialysis, which is overwhelming the system. There are a certain number of these patients who have these symptoms with they're not emptying their bladder. If you're not able to empty your bladder because of an enlarged prostate, so the prostate's a walnut-sized organ, lays underneath the bladder. Its only role is for male fertility. But what it does is as it gets enlarged over time, it obstructs your opening of your bladder, it squeezes your urethra, your pee pipe, doesn't allow you to generate a good stream, unable to empty your bladder completely. Your kidneys have nowhere to drain the urine, all the toxins. It has a continual back pressure on your kidneys. That can lead to irreversible kidney damage, going down the road to kidney dialysis 3 times a week, eventually needing a kidney transplant. And all that can be prevented if you listen to your body. All you need in many cases is a medication once a day or 2 medications once a day.
So let's back up, Dr. Pinto. So I want people to be clear on these symptoms, right? So we talked about going to the bathroom frequently, especially during the night. We talked about a great sense of urgency to go to the bathroom. We talked about going to the bathroom and not being able to get it out like the right way. It's not flowing as effectively as it should, or you're starting and stopping. Are there any other symptoms that we missed, or those are what people need to be aware of? Because I want wives, especially girlfriends, daughters, to be aware of this, because we have some men going through this but not sharing, and then it's too late. So I really want people to know the symptoms so that they can address the issue.
Well, a lot of men will become socially awkward as well because they walk away from the toilet and they're dripping into the underwear. They have that smell of urine that makes them feel embarrassed. That's another symptom. But what the bladder does is it adapts to this, and over time it compensates by becoming larger capacity, more muscular, able to contract against this obstructing force. So by the time these symptoms really get severe, it's been many years in many cases, and we need to deal with it right away. If medication doesn't work, and it usually does, at least for the first several years, we have minimally invasive procedures endoscopically, not a single cut, stitch, no painkillers afterwards. It solves the problem for your lifetime, protects your kidneys, and you'll have a strong stream like you're 18 years old again. You'll be able to pee every 4-6 hours, wake up no times, or maybe once in the night. And this is a permanent solution. Your problem will never come back again. And that's available right here, right now. We have the state-of-the-art machines available that can do that.
Now I want to learn more about that surgery, because that sounds really interesting. You said minimally invasive. So how does that work?
So we put a scope down your urethra, a very thin scope. You're either put to sleep or you're numb from the waist down. Either way, it's either an outpatient procedure or you go home the very next morning. We look up on the screen, we use an energy source, whether it's a laser or a bipolar diathermy, and we resect the obstructing prostate. You still have your prostate gland intact, but all the obstructing prostate tissue is removed, and it'll take over 50 years for it to become obstructive or symptomatic again.
Wow, that is phenomenal. Like medical technology is amazing.
And what a lot of men will also experience, if you're not emptying your bladder, it can affect your erections as well. So as a urologist, any man as they get older, they're going to have erectile problems as well. So urologists can solve that problem, whether it's late onset hypogonadism, low testosterone. We can get you back on track. We can get your urinary symptoms under control, get you back control of your bladder and your happiness, get you back your erections as well.
Excellent. So Dr. Pinto, give us a number, because I'm sure people want to reach you, right?
Well, I'm a consultant at Princess Margaret Hospital, so finances, lack of insurance shouldn't be a reason for you to suffer with these problems.
Excellent.
So you can get referred from your local clinic to Princess Margaret Hospital. I'm a consultant, a urologist also at Doctors Hospital. My private office is at 68 Collins Avenue, 6th Terrace, which is the Centerville Medical Center, and the number there is 326-1929.
326-1929.
And I also have a website, urologycarebahamas.com.
urologycarebahamas.com. Obviously, this procedure is amazing because it's outpatient. You can be done and go home the same day.
And no painkillers, no recovery. You can go back to work the next day.
Excellent. And then if it is that you don't need the minimally invasive surgery, you might
medication works, is very effective.
Dr. Pinto, thank you so much for coming and sharing with
my
us.
pleasure.
Every time you come, I learn something new, and I just hope that people are absorbing the information and that they won't have to live with this pain and discomfort as a result of the work that you do.
Well,
so
men are very stubborn. If it takes their wife or their daughter to bring them in to save their life or improve their quality of life, I think we need to go down that road.
I think we need to do it.
Yes.
I think we do. So thank you so much for joining us this morning. You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
New Providence Life Insurance Company wants to be your lifetime insurance partner. Through good times and bad, we are here to light the way. We offer educational savings plans, family plans for medical, dental, and vision, income protection to pay bills if you can't work, and a full set of plans designed for senior adults. New Providence Life, your beacon of security through every season.
You be stretched. I mean, the true lesson is know thyself. And until you know yourself, you're going to be battling with a lot of stuff. Until I knew I was a caricature artist, my company couldn't start. Until I knew I loved to give rather than to receive, I could not be a mentor. I am Renbert Mortimer, and this is my UB.
Apply today at www.ub.edu.bs.
Bahamas, fasten your seatbelt, put your tray tables and chairs in their upright and locked positions as Bahamas Air spreads its wings with new service into Houston. It's a really big deal with tickets starting as low as $4.55 per person for non-stop service into the great state of Texas. Don't miss your opportunity. Purchase your ticket to Houston for just $4.55. Book Bahamas Air online, visit any one of our sales offices, or call reservations to purchase your round-trip ticket into Houston today.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise, and they are back. The dynamic duo of Sid Lane and Douglas. Listen, soon you guys are going to be hosting Bahamas at Sunrise, man.
You never know.
But you're making the rounds, man, doing wonderful things. They are Cash and Go. Sid Lane is the supervisor at Cash and Go, and Douglas is a marketing associate. And they're here to talk about Know What Thursdays.
Know what?
Know What Thursdays. Man, you guys have been busy doing the rounds. Cash and Go is doing extremely well, I would believe.
Yes,
But this is different. Know What Thursdays.
Yes, and what we're trying to do as Cash and Go, what we're trying to do is give back to the community.
Yeah.
We believe we owe it to the persons that support us. So we want to just take it away every second and third Thursday of each month up until December 12th is No VAT Thursdays. That's a 12% instant savings on money transfers. I'm telling you. So come down to Cash and Go and capitalize on No VAT Thursdays.
All right, so once they get there, what are the services they're going to be capitalized? What are the savings they're going to be capitalized?
So this will be mostly on our money transfer services. So it'll be MoneyGram as well as the RIA transfer. And I know back a couple months ago, we promoted the RIA transfer, which is our newest money transfer company. And so we really want our customers to take advantage of this No VAT Thursdays and get to send money to your family or friends. And that's a cost that you don't have to worry about.
All right. So when you say the no RIA, explain again for our listening audience what exactly that means.
Right, so for persons who don't know, let's just start. Let me just tell what we do at
Yes.
Cash and Go.
Yes.
At Cash and Go,
Go
we're
ahead,
a
Douglas.
utility bill pay and collection center. We do everything from BPL, water and sewage, Cable Bahamas, Grand Bahama Power, Grand Bahama Utility. We do mobile top-up, that's both a live BTC and international. We collect insurance premiums from Clico Bahamas and BAF Financial. We do money remittance, that's worldwide.
Wow.
That's RIA and MoneyGram. And that's where the savings is really with the money transfer services. And just to give everybody a heads up, we don't charge anything for our bill pay. So if your bill is $10, $100, $20 at BTC,
That's what it is.
that's what it is.
You ain't putting no 1.5%, no 2%.
No.
You sure?
I'm telling you, it's no charge to you. So it's just savings. So you come in, you utilize our services, Cash and Go. We're trying to build out a network, build out a map. We are family at Cash and Go. We want to take care of you. So we're just looking for ways to give back to you, the consumer, because we appreciate you coming to us as there's many options in the field. And so we're trying to give back this go
Yeah,
round.
you're right, boy. There's some options. There's some
I'm
new
telling-
things that have come.
yes,
But anyway,
yes. We don't sweat them.
Yeah,
You know,
you sweat.
we do what we do, and we do it best. At Cash and Go, we do it best, and we're always getting better. We're family, and we're promoting that. Like I say, No VAT Thursdays, Christmas is coming up. Savings start now. Everybody's gonna try to catch you December to play on your emotions. It starts now. It starts today.
But listen, we're gonna have to push that. That instead of just the second and the third Thursdays, we got to do it every Thursday, man.
It may come to that,
Just-
you never
Big
know.
announcement here on Bob's Sunrise.
No, it may come to that, but we have a lot of other things in the pipeline. Cash and Go, BAF, we're always on the move. We're always doing things. We have right now, we have our $1 a day donation to breast cancer. We're donating to the Sister Foundation. And we're serious about what we do. We're willing to match up to $20,000 in donations. Everybody talks it, we're doing it. So come in, donate $1, donate whatever you like. It doesn't have to be $1.50. And BAF is going to match it up to $20,000.
So instead of getting that change back, just leave it there.
Just leave it. You know, support the cause.
He listed quite a few companies that are in partnership, and for the bill payment side, we'll just slip to the bill payment side. So other businesses that want to do that, I mean, to have their bills paid, they can just simply come in and apply to?
Yeah, they
Definitely,
can. They can. So
definitely.
persons, I know that they would have their courier, they would have their messenger. So if they corporate business as well can pay through us, they can come in, they can send their message to us, or they can contact our Navy Lion downtown branch, 322-2274,
Hey.
and
Throw it out.
always ready. So you can call our Navy Lion Center, and they would, coordinate where we can make those payments for you.
Yeah. Where are you located?
We have a number of locations.
Okay.
So we have Prince Charles, we have Gladstone Road, we have Cable Beach, and we have our Navy Line, which is downtown. We have Rosetta Street, which is our flagship store, as well as we have Harbor Bay, we have Robinson Road, we have East Street South, and we have Carmichael.
Well, you got to have Carmichael.
Right.
Well, of
Yes,
course.
yes. And we got, not to miss out, we got our
Yes.
newest location on Faith Avenue North, right in Brownstone Enterprise. You can go check them out. They're nice, they're fresh, they're fast, they're convenient. This is what we do, we're doing it. We don't want to leave out our Family Island
that's what I was
locations.
saying,
We got some Family Island locations. We got Freeport, Abercrombie, Luther, Exuma, Spanish Wells, and don't let the list stop there. We're expanding. Watch it. We're going to be back, and when I come back, I'm going to have some more
Let's have
names
some more.
for
I
you.
believe it. So, okay. So obviously you have a lot of locations, but again, you're doing a lot of, social media. I see you guys all the time.
Yes,
as
we
well,
do
right?
have social media. We have on our Facebook page as well as our Instagram, we have Trivias Tuesday and Thursday. So you can stay tuned for the persons who love social media. You can, every Tuesday and every Thursday, we have Trivias. And so you can look out for those as well. So we have a lot of little things going on in between time. And also we have the grand events as well. So
All right. When's the next one coming up?
We have one in November, December. You know it's Christmas.
No, I was about to say,
It's
I
Christmas
gotta wait until
time. We do
Christmas
it.
time. I mean, come on, man.
So definitely there will be something. We're going to come back. We're going to tell the community about it. We're going to tell you about it. We're going to come back
Okay,
and
well,
let
listen,
you
I
know.
love the idea. So no VAT Thursdays.
no back.
No bad Thursdays.
I'm saying every Thursday. So every second and third
Every
Thursdays,
second and third Thursday.
As long as your store's open. So
Yes.
immediately that's a 12% savings.
Automatically.
All
And we extend beyond business hours, something to keep in mind too. We open at 8 a.m., close at 6 p.m., and we're open on Saturdays 8 to 4. We have convenient locations. We're fast. Don't go to BPL, then cable, then water and sewage. Come to Cash and Go.
One time.
Everything
No
one
charge
stop
to you.
shop.
Yeah.
And listen, best customer service. Like I said, Cash and Go, we do it. We're the best of what we do, and we do it best. So come on to Cash and Go, and let's just get it done.
I'll get it easy and tall. Listen, thank you very much
Thank
for
you
joining us
too.
once again on Bahamas at Sunrise. I have every confidence in you guys.
Yes.
Listen,
Definitely.
man, stop. We got some, competition here, man. You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
Do you want to know more about the scriptures, the early Christian church, its teachings, suffering, other religions, the authenticity of the Bible? The Anglican Theological Institute is for you. Enroll in a 3-year certificate program. Classes are conducted from NASA and Freeport on Saturday mornings. Don't miss a class. Stay connected anytime, anywhere, with high-speed internet. Contact us at 603-2481. Visit our Facebook page. Pick up an application form at any Anglican church or at Addington House on Sands Road. The Anglican Theological Institute is for you.
Hi, I'm Davriel and welcome to Rev Tips, where we answer your most important Rev service questions. Today's question is, how do I set up a Rev My Account? It's super easy. To create a Rev My Account, simply visit www.cablebahamas.com and click the My Account icon. Next, select the Create Account option. Please have a copy of your latest statement on hand. Enter the information as it appears on the statement to the respective areas on the form. When you have finished, click Create Account to continue with the process. Once you've registered your account, you can use your username and password to check your account balance, view past statements, and pay your bill online. And that's your Rev Tip for this week. Thanks for watching, and be sure to join us next time.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. We're at the halfway point on this marvelous Monday. We hope you've been enjoying the show so far.
Energy, I've been enjoying it actually. Cash and Go, Sid Lane and Douglas, man, they just bring the energy every single time. They obviously love what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, listen, Jessica, keep them, man, keep them. We got these young people rolling.
Yeah, no, Cash and Go always has some exciting stuff happening. When you really think about the concept, it really is a brilliant idea, and the way that it works. So, yeah, certainly exciting segment with them. You had a great first segment with Davinia. She's incredibly passionate about the work that she's doing with SPDC.
And it makes sense. I mean, you know, we didn't get into it on that particular segment, but the importance of small businesses to the overall development of any economy.
Yeah.
You just can't, you know, you can't.
No, you need it. You definitely need it. Yeah, and I love the fact that they're trying to just take these businesses to the next level. And so certainly a wonderful concept.
$5 million a year. I mean, listen, the capital, and then of course the mentoring and the
that's
collaboration
what it is, because
with the
it's
Chamber
one
of
thing
Commerce.
to give somebody money, but it's another thing to see them through the process to make sure that they understand the pitfalls. So I really love the concept. Excellent stuff happening at SPDC. And then I love my conversation with Dr. Pinto.
Yeah, every time, right?
Every time, because no, I mean, Phil, so many people are suffering in silence. So many people just don't know what to do. And because we're a society where we try to keep everything quiet, people don't talk about it. But these are real issues.
Well, he's talking about it. I tell you, he had one of the best lines I've ever heard on television.
And you got to say it again.
I can't say it.
You can't say it?
No, I can't.
No, because he talked to me about erections. So if that's what you were afraid of.
Yeah, well, no, he just said there's none that he can't get back. I mean, that was just, I'm sure eyes all around the.
Yeah, well, go and see Dr. Pinto. He always makes us, the man in the hair, laugh. Like, all the cameramen are laughing right now. So, you know, and I'm the only woman with a straight face. Nevertheless, let us continue. So we've got more to come in the second half. Very excited to be talking with the Bahamas Financial Services Board, celebrating 20 years.
Yeah, and Legal Aid, Merritt is going to be here talking about the latest.
Yeah.
I mean, the latest with regards to
the Disney Cruise Line.
I mean,
and stuff happening.
It's interesting. But anyway, good.
Yeah, so it's going to be, continue to be a great show. Already been a great morning so far. And of course, it only gets better whenever we see Godfrey on camera. So here he is with your second look at weather, Godfrey Burnside.
Weather at Sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First. First in insurance, today, tomorrow.
Thank you, Stan. Good morning, Bahamas. Yes, second look at weather sunrise. We take a trip around the tropics. And we left here on Friday. We had a hurricane, a tropical storm. All have dissipated. We only have one little system we're monitoring now. Some showers and thunderstorms associated with an area of low pressure in the southwestern Caribbean Sea, moving towards the west-northwest. Has a 30% chance to develop in the next 8 days. No threat at all to the Bahamas. Elsewhere, tropical storm formation expected during the next 5 days. On the local scene, high pressure predominated feature across the islands. Some breezy conditions over the next several days and some very warm temperatures, but for the most part we're looking at a pretty good weekend start weather-wise. In your marine forecast, winds east-southeast at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet. Those winds increasing by afternoon to 15 knots, sea building 3 to 5 feet. Over the northwest and central Bahamas, 15 to 20 knots, seas 4 to 6 feet. Over the southeastern islands. On Tuesday, those winds east to southeast at 15 knots, sea 3 to 5 feet. Northwest Bahamas, 15 to 20 knots, seas 4 to 6 feet. Over the central and southeastern islands. On Wednesday, winds east to southeast at 15 knots, sea 3 to 5 feet. Over the northwest Bahamas, east at 15 to 20 knots, seas 4 to 6 feet. Over the central and southeastern islands. Your tides. You can expect a high tide at 13 minutes past midday. Next low tide is 6:47 this evening. High gain tomorrow morning at 41 minutes past midnight. Sunset at 6:41 this evening. Rises tomorrow at 7:09. UV index 8. Your water temperature 84 degrees Fahrenheit. And the moon phase now moving towards the first quarter. Extended look that high pressure will be the dominant feature over the next couple of days, but we are watching a trough just to the east of the southeastern islands that's moving towards the west. That will start increasing some cloudiness and showers over the southeastern islands late tonight into tomorrow. For the most part, we're looking at partly sunny. On the warm side, with a slight chance of one or two showers. Temperature daytime will be around 90-degree mark. At nighttime, in the mid to upper 70s. That puts a wrap on your phone. Look at weather sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Phil.
Godfrey, yes, it has been 20 years since inception. We're talking about the Bahamas Financial Services Board. Very pleased to be joined this morning by Tanya.
Good morning.
Tanya
Good to see you, Phil.
She is the CEO and Executive Director. And she is joined by Shamika Fernanda, who is the chairperson of the Celebrations Committee. I'm just, hopefully that's what you are.
She's the director of the Bahamas Financial Services Board, but she is the chairperson of our committee for our events.
And also happens to be CEO of Old Fort Financial. right there along Western Road. Ladies, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's hard to believe it's been 20 years already, Tanya.
20 years, the government and private sector came together and created what was then a unique public-private sector partnership with the purpose of promoting the Bahamas as an international financial center. And 20 years ago, I was thinking this morning on my way here.
You were just a baby. I mean,
absolutely. But I've heard that 20 years ago, we would have been on the cusp of what has now become a flood of global regulatory changes. It would have been 1998 when BFSB was formed.
Oh, it was transformative times.
Yeah, but we all know that in 2000, the Bahamas was blacklisted and how we had to respond with a compendium of legislation. So BFSB has been in the forefront of the Bahamas' response to a lot of the changes that we've seen in the global regulatory environment that has been impacting financial services. So while we promote as our key mandate, we also serve as an advocate for industry to ensure that there is balance between the policy response to all these changes and the need to have an environment where we still can employ a large number of professionals, where we can still contribute to the GDP to the extent that we do, and serve as what we call the second pillar of the economy.
Well, when we talk about that second pillar of the economy, obviously, you know, the industry itself has just transformed and evolved over time. When we talk about financial services and your membership in particular, is there a set definition or has
the
membership
lawyer,
even...
The lawyer in me will say to you, firstly, when we talked about financial services in the past, it was banks and trust companies. The law has even made it such that the definition of financial services has expanded since 2000. My membership is reflective of that. We have banks and trust companies, insurance companies, asset managers, securities dealers, the whole range, law firms, accounting firms, anyone who falls within the purview of financial services or touches and concern financial services is a member. And we have over 250 members at the moment.
Real estate companies?
Real estate companies are members. In fact, BRIA, the Real Estate Association, has a representative on our board. So most of the professional industry associations are represented on the board as well.
Excellent, excellent. So Shamika, 20 years. I mean, you guys kicked it off. I believe I saw a supplement in the papers last week.
Yeah.
But got big celebrations planned?
We do. We've had, just the past Thursday and Friday, we've had the Nassau Conference, hosted by the Association of International Banks and Trust Companies. Our next event is going to be Saturday. We're going to have a fun run walk Saturday morning.
You always got to slip that in there.
My office insisted we're having a fun run walk.
About it. I'm excited about it. We kick it off Saturday morning, 6 a.m. The route is from Western Esplanade at Arawak Key to Goodman's Bay Roundabout and back. Registration begins at 5.
That's short, man.
For some people.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be a very fun event. We're excited about it. Our next event is going to be October 23rd. We have an industry series event where we have an exciting group of panelists. And our topic is financial services dead or alive. It's a question that everyone's asking.
That's a serious question.
Yeah, it is. And we have a very diverse group of panelists. They include Ryan Pinder, Cheryl Bazard, Michelle Neville-Clark, Anika Bendaby-Roll, Wendy Warren. So that event is going to be...
Heavy hitters. Anybody internationally?
Well, we have some international presenters coming in for events later in the year because we're going to celebrate for this year.
Absolutely. 20 years,
yeah.
And then we are ending the Financial Services Month with the Financial Services Industry Excellence Awards. It's an opportunity for our member firms to highlight the members of their organizations that have contributed positively to the organization, to the industry, and to the country. So we're very excited about that.
Yeah, I want to add as well that we would like for all of our members to come out and support the events, as well as I should add that we have chosen our Lifetime Achievement Award winner. This year it's Mr. Philip Stubbs. He served as the executive director of the Securities Commission as an interim director, but he was chairman of the board. He served on the board of the Central Bank. He was country manager for the firm of EY for many years. Just made a broad contribution to financial services, both in private and public sector. And our executive of the year, Ms. Michelle Fields, from the Insurance Commission of the Bahamas. So we'll be honoring them at our awards dinner. But you asked about international presenters. Later in the year, in November, the end of November, we're going to be bringing in a firm to look at global tax enforcement.
Okay.
We know that everything is driven by tax and enforcement, so we're going to have a dynamic panel put together that industry and the wider public will hear more about.
Yeah, Shamika, you also happen to be a director on the board.
Yes.
Why is this organization such an important one, especially in economies like the Bahamas?
Well, with the Bahamas Financial Services Board, it's important for the member firms to have that person that acts on their behalf in terms of negotiating with governments, with legislation. The Bahamas Financial Services Board, they are key in educating members about changes. For a lot of us, that's a lifeline. So it's very, very, very important. And we look to BFSB for that.
Well, you know, we look into BFSB for a lot of things as well. I mean, Tanya, this may be another segment, but, you know, WTO is coming up fast and furious, at least the decision that the government's made to ascend to it. Just very quickly, I mean, obviously it's impactful straight across the board, but, you know, what do we see happening from a financial service perspective?
It's interesting that you should ask this. This was one of the topics that we looked at the Nassau conference. And while the WTO covers services, what we see in financial services is that we are already quite an open sector. We do allow talent to come in, services provided cross-border. So we see minimal impact to financial services as it is today because we are already open, but we do see opportunities. We believe that a controlled liberalization of the bar can help growth in the financial services sector. And so to the extent that the WTO might facilitate that, that is something that will be interesting for the sector.
All right, well listen, congratulations.
Thank you.
20 years seems like a short time, but actually it's been a, you know, an evolving process.
Yeah, and we're grateful to our members. BFSB is nothing without the member firms who make us up. So I want to thank our members for 20 years of support and commit to working hard and even harder to make sure that we advocate for them and keep the Bahamas top of mind as an international financial center.
Listen, thank you very much, Tanya. Shamika, Bahamas Financial Services Board celebrating 20 years as an association. You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
So who really own the Nassau container port?
Boss, that's easy. The government.
I do.
I do.
Thank you.
I do.
I do. And one day, he will too.
I do. Knock knock.
Here at the Nassau Container Port, we've diversified our ownership to give hardworking Bahamians a piece of the economic pie. And we'll continue to grow so that we can give you a consistent return on your investment. That's our promise.
New Providence Life Insurance Company wants to be your lifetime insurance partner. Through good times and bad, we are here to light the way. We offer educational savings plans, family plans for medical, dental, and vision, income protection to pay bills if you can't work, and a full set of plans designed for senior adults. New Providence Life, your beacon of security through every season.
How are we making Rev work wonders for you? We are doing it together. You told us what you want, and we've heard you. Want faster broadband? How about speeds up to 1 gigabit per second? Want shorter house calls? 2 hours max. We promise. Want to take your entertainment anywhere? Well, your Rev Go Play app is here. Rev, we've heard you. You speak, we listen. Rev, you and us together.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. Recently, the competing positions of Disney Cruise Lines, the One Luther Foundation, and various environmental groups, including the Bahamas National Trust, have dominated the headlines as each weighed in about a Lighthouse Point, which Disney wants to purchase from a private owner. The managing partner of Providence Law, Mr. Merritt Storr, is here to examine the role that the government is legally empowered to play as it pertains to foreign land sales and development projects. Good morning, Mr. Storr, and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Thank you.
So very happy to have you with us talking about this because this is happening everywhere. But you bring the legal perspective. You let us know exactly what can happen. That's not opinion-based. This is fact. And so I'm happy that you're here to bring some clarity.
Sure, okay.
I want to start by finding out, is there a specific law or laws that govern how foreigners are allowed to acquire land in the Bahamas? And how long has that law been in place if one exists?
Yeah, there is one that governs it. It's called the International Persons Landholding Act. It came into force in 1993. It regulates how non-Bahamians can acquire land. So for example, if you want to acquire a commercial property, you need a permit, which means that you need pre-approval from the government before you can close the sale. If you're a non-Bahamian and you're buying a residential property, a condo or something like that, you can complete the sale, but there is an obligation that you have to register the property with the Investments Board. And the Investments Board is the governing authority set up under that act that regulates the buying and selling of land by non-Bahamians.
Okay. So can foreigners purchase land in the Bahamas the same way a Bahamian can? And if not, what is the major difference? Is that the investment board that you mentioned?
Yes, that's key. Bahamians don't really need prior approval in order to acquire land in their own country.
Okay.
The only issue is the terms agreed between the buyer and the seller. Of course, there are any other regulatory issues, like if there's subdivision approval or things of that nature. But generally speaking, you and I can contract and we don't need any approval from anybody else.
Okay.
A non-Bahamian, again, particularly in a commercial development, they cannot close a sale. In fact, the law says that the closing of a sale would be void if they attempted to do so with a seller unless they have a permit from the Investments Board. And likewise, if they're buying a residential property, they need a certificate of registration. So there is a regime that is different for non-Bahamians, and the government has the right, or the Investments Board, really the government, but the Investments Board has the right to refuse any application for a permit, and they don't have to really give reasons for any refusal.
Right. So I don't know how many Bahamians would be familiar then with the Investments Board, since that's not something that they would go through regularly. So when we consider the Investments Board, what role does that play, and how is that different from the National Economic Council? How do they interact along with the Cabinet of the Bahamas? Because that's like three different entities. How does that work together?
Yeah, interestingly, and the average Bahamian may not interact with these entities on a regular basis. The Investments Board really works out of the office of the Prime Minister, and it works under the banner of the Bahamas Investment Authority. But that same act is its regulatory or its legal basis for existence. The Investment Board deals with sales of land by non-Bahamians. So again, if you're going to buy land as a non-Bahamian, you need Investment Board approval. The National Economic Council really approves any project, any foreign investment project. So like Bahamas, Atlantis, or even Disney per se, if they are going to be approved for what they want to do, the National Economic Council needs to approve it. And how is this different from the Cabinet? These are all the same. They're just wearing different hats at different times. So the Prime Minister is the chairman of the Investments Board, he's the chairman of the National Economic Council, and obviously he has the Cabinet.
Okay, all right. So
another board, the Immigration Board, that's also the Cabinet. So you see the Cabinet wears all these different hats at different times.
Interesting, interesting. And I can also understand why people have some challenges with the way the Cabinet works when you consider this. But we will continue. I diverge, right? In accordance with the International Persons Landholding Act, what options are available to the government in the current situation where Disney has apparently already signed a purchase agreement with its current owner? Can the government actually do anything?
Yes, they can. This is normal. I mean, normally a buyer and a seller will sign an agreement first because the terms are laid out, and then the buyer will make an application to the Investments Board. In this case, Disney would apply to the Investments Board and the National Economic Council, same people, and say, this is what we want to do. We want to acquire the land for X, Y, Z. Here's our project. The government has to determine whether it will approve the purchase of the land and the project as laid out. Government can come back and say, well, we're prepared to approve it, but you need to do X, Y, Z. Environmental issues we're concerned about, or we want to make sure that Bahamians have access to, so any number of conditions the government can place on the approval. Or the government can say, okay, we like your plan as you presented it, we approve it. And they could also say, no, we don't want you to do it.
Okay, okay. So they do have a veto power in a
they
sense
do,
to
they
say
do.
that this
But
cannot happen.
Yes, but in a case like this, I mean, it would be difficult for the government to just give a blanket veto, not legally, politically, because there's so much interest in this, and they would probably also have to give reasons because there's so much public interest.
I was just going to ask you about
but
that.
generally speaking, they don't have to give reasons, and there's no legal ramifications if they refuse to give reasons.
Okay.
But because of all the public interests, they will probably have to give reasons if they refuse Disney. And Disney is already doing business in the Bahamas, and that's a relationship that the government will want to maintain for the existing cruise business that Disney provides to the country. So you have to massage that relationship carefully as well.
You're thinking ahead of the game, right? Because I was going to ask you about whether or not they had to give reasons, and I think what you just said specifically answers that question. Is that for political purposes, for the purposes of relationships with Disney and with those who elected them, they would have to say if they said no. All right. Sometimes the government will grant a developer's request to purchase or have crown land granted to them along with other incentives. Does our law make allowance for incentives, or does the government simply exercise its discretion in determining what incentives will be granted to an investor?
We actually have a lot of incentive legislation.
Really?
One of the primary incentive legislation in tourism is the Hotels Encouragement Act.
Okay.
Hotels Encouragement Act allows a developer to bring in construction and building materials duty-free, allows them to bring in the fixtures, etc., duty-free. We also have the Family Island Development Act, which also similarly gives incentives for people who are going to do developments in the Family Islands. The Saudi Lusra project may fall under the Family Islands Development Act because the purpose of it is to incentivize development in the islands, and again, it involves duty-free concessions and things of that nature.
Okay.
So, but there are other types of legislation, and the government can also exercise its discretion. But normally, it'll probably bring a resolution to Parliament and say, this is what we're planning to do, X, Y, Z, vis-a-vis Crown land, etc.
Okay, okay. And then one of the things that Bahamians often say whenever this conversation comes up about foreigners and all that they've been given in order to develop is, but Bahamians could do it. Bahamians want to do it. So are these same incentives available to Bahamians?
Yes. The incentives like the ones I just mentioned are not nationality based.
Okay.
So if you are Bahamian and you want to develop a 30-room hotel, you can benefit from the benefits under the Hotels Encouragement Act.
Okay.
It's just unfortunate that oftentimes Bahamians are not involved in these businesses that have this type of incentive legislation. Sometimes maybe the capital required threshold is considered too high, but if Bahamians were to get involved in hotel, tourism-related investments, the same incentives would be available to them as are available to non-Bahamians. Or they could certainly put it to the test.
Yeah, they certainly could. They certainly could. They could always hire you to do that. But listen, Mr. Storer, thank you so much for joining us today, bringing some clarity to this issue, letting us know legally what can happen. And that is always so important to our conversation.
Absolutely.
Not just opinions, but facts.
Absolutely.
And the law certainly speaks to that. So we thank you for joining us this
Pleasure.
morning.
Thank you.
You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
One thing, two things, blue thing, all things, things that are small, things that are grand, things that fit just right, and in the palm of your hand. Fox Hill Nursery, a large selection of garden supplies. If you can see it in your mind, you can find it at Fox Hill Nursery.
Well, that's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Excellent show. So
Great
much quality
show. Absolutely.
conversations.
Makes me want to take out a pen and paper every single time.
And learn some more.
Learn some more. But listen, you can watch it again, right?
You certainly can.
Yeah.
You can watch us live on our Facebook channel. The video is always there. And of course, we repeat for you at 8 a.m. And we're back on again on Wednesday. So anytime to catch us. We hope that you have a wonderful week. And we will see you here on Friday with a brand new show.
That's right. Bye.
Bye.